What if I told you that everything you're doing to become happy is actually making you more miserable? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly the conclusion researchers from Stanford and the University of California came to after decades of studying human psychology. Think about it. You give everything you've got to reach a goal. Get that promotion, find the perfect relationship, and every time your dream comes true, you somehow don't feel the triumph you expected. The problem is, your brain is working against you. And today, I'm going to reveal 4 hidden psychological traps most people fall into without even realizing that these traps steal their happiness every single day. Trap number 1. Hedonic adaptation, or why new things don't make you happy for long. Think back to the moment you finally got something you had been dreaming about. Maybe it was a new car, a dream apartment, a long-awaited promotion, or the start of a relationship with someone you were crazy about. How long did that feeling of excitement last? A week? A month? And then what happened? You got used to it, and you started wanting something else. That's called hedonic adaptation, and the idea is simple. People quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, no matter how big the positive or negative events in their lives are. A 2024 study published in BMC Psychology shows something fascinating. A person who spends less money, but on a wider variety of pleasures, tends to be happier than someone who spends more on the same thing over and over again. Why? Because the brain adapts. You buy a new iPhone, and for the first few days, it feels amazing. But a month later, you barely notice it. It becomes background noise, your new normal, and your brain is already looking for the next hit of dopamine. Professor Sonia Lyubomirsky, one of the world's leading happiness researchers, explains that people, on average, adapt faster to positive changes than to negative ones. This is linked to our evolutionary survival mechanisms. In today's world, that same imbalance can trap us in an endless chase for more, because past successes stop giving us the same level of satisfaction. A classic study from the 1970s compared lottery winners with people who had become paraplegic after accidents. And you know what they found? Over time, both groups moved back toward their baseline level of happiness. So what does this mean for you and me? It means that instead of chasing huge one-time events, we should focus on variety of experience. You dream about buying your own house someday? That's great. But while you're working toward that big goal, don't forget to plan small adventures along the way, because variety slows down adaptation, and that's what creates more real moments of happiness. Trap number 2, social comparison, or why Instagram is killing your happiness. Have you ever scrolled through Instagram, looked at your friends' perfect vacation photos from the Maldives, their carefree smiles, and suddenly felt empty or even angry? Why do they have all this and I don't? Congratulations, you've just fallen into the social comparison trap. Leon Festinger, one of the most influential social psychologists of the 20th century, introduced the theory of social comparison back in the 1950s. The idea is simple. We can't evaluate ourselves objectively, so we constantly look at other people to figure out where we stand in the social hierarchy. Social media created the perfect storm for this mechanism. When we passively scroll through other people's posts, our happiness goes down. When we interact, comment, support, connect, it goes up. But what do we do most of the time? Right, we scroll. We passively consume other people's highlight reels and compare them to our everyday lives. We don't see how much work went into their success. We don't see the problems they faced. We don't see their failures. All we see is a picture of a perfect life. Your brain compares your real life to someone else's best moments, and of course, you lose. But can you escape this trap? Yes, and here's how. First, limit passive social media consumption. Second, shift your focus. Happy people don't ignore other people's success, but they don't let it define their self-worth either. A happy runner compares themselves to their own past results, not to faster athletes. Third, learn to appreciate others. Instead of envy, practice being genuinely happy for someone else's success. Sounds like cheesy self-help advice? Maybe, but research shows that when you learn to value other people's achievements, you not only improve your relationships, you also feel happier yourself. Social comparison isn't evil, it's a tool. You just have to learn how to use it the right way. Trap number 3, negativity bias, or why your brain is obsessed with the bad. Imagine this. You had an amazing day. You got 5 compliments at work, had a great lunch, met an old friend, and then in the evening, someone honked at you aggressively in traffic. What do you remember when you go to bed? That honk, that rude driver, that one moment. Why does your brain do this to you? Welcome to the world of negativity bias, one of the most powerful cognitive distortions in the human mind. Negativity bias means something simple. Negative events, thoughts, and emotions affect us much more strongly than positive ones of the same intensity. Why? Evolution. Our ancestors who reacted quickly to danger, a sound in the bushes, a possible predator, survived. Those who were too busy enjoying a beautiful sunset and missed the lion became its dinner. Negativity bias saved our species, but today it makes us unhappy. We have a much richer vocabulary for negative emotions than for positive ones. We can describe hundreds of shades of fear, anger, and sadness. But happiness? Well, we're happy, we're joyful, and what else? And the worst part is how negativity bias affects memory. We remember bad experiences better than good ones. One negative event can erase 10 positive ones. One criticism weighs more than 10 compliments. But here's the good news. We can retrain the brain. Here are practical steps that actually help. Use the 5-to-1 rule. For every negative comment or thought, give yourself 5 positive ones. This ratio is one of the most effective ways to improve personal well-being. Keep a gratitude journal. Every evening, write down 3 things that went well. This simple habit can noticeably boost your happiness in just a few months. People who regularly focus on positive moments feel more satisfied with life, get stuck in negativity less often, and recover from stress faster. Reframe problems as opportunities. Your brain naturally locks onto negative frames. You see a threat where there's a chance, a loss where there's an opportunity. But the moment you consciously shift your focus, not only your mood changes, your entire life trajectory changes. Remember this, your brain is not against you. It's just running on outdated software, and you can upgrade it. Trap number 4, anxiety about the future, or why you live everywhere except the present. Right now, as you're watching this video, where is your mind? Is it here with me in this moment? Or has it already run off to plan dinner, worry about tomorrow's meeting, replay a conversation that hasn't even happened yet? If so, you've just fallen into trap number 4. When you constantly live in the future, worrying about things that haven't happened yet, your mental health slowly breaks down. But why do we do this? Because your brain is a problem-solving machine. It evolved to predict threats, to plan ahead, to prepare. That's how we survived. But in the modern world, where real physical danger is rare, the brain has switched to psychological threats, and it does its job way too well. Psychologists call this rumination, chewing the same thoughts over and over again. What if I fail? What if they say no? What if everything goes wrong? You think this helps. You think you're preparing, but anxiety about the future is often just an illusion of control. We believe that if we worry enough, we can control the outcome. In reality, the opposite happens. Excessive worrying reduces your ability to respond effectively when something actually does happen. So, what can you do about it? First, practice mindfulness. People who regularly meditate or practice mindfulness show lower anxiety and a stronger ability to stay present. Mindfulness simply means noticing your thoughts without judging them and without getting stuck in them. When you catch your mind running into the future, just say, "Oh, I'm worrying about tomorrow again," and gently bring your attention back to your breath, to what's happening right now. Second, use cognitive reappraisal. Instead of trying to suppress anxious thoughts, reframe them. Instead of, "I can't handle this," tell yourself, "This will be challenging, but I've handled harder things before." Cognitive reappraisal is far more effective than trying to push emotions away. And finally, the most important part, accept uncertainty. You will never have full control over the future. Never. That's a fact of life. But instead of fighting this fact, you can accept it. People who are more tolerant of uncertainty experience less anxiety. Remember this, the future does not exist. It is just a mental construction in your head. The only thing that truly exists is now, this moment. And if you're not living here and now, you're not really living at all. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I wish you happiness. Not perfect happiness, but real happiness.